singing even though I can't sing.
What?
We're just being idiots
It's
talking
my
over
show.
the intro.
It's my show. I'll do whatever I want. If I want to sing along with me singing the intro, I'll do it.
I always mouth the words.
Well, I was belting it out.
It's so beautiful.
The problem
Like
is I
an
can't hear
angel.
myself.
Good
So it probably
God.
sounded... I told you we need light bulbs. I should have got
No,
some
you
today.
need to clean the fan off. Jesus.
Well, don't tell people that. The fan's
No.
so clean.
No, it's not.
People don't need to know
It's got
that.
like an inch thick of dust up there.
That's
Okay.
probably why. That's why I have so
Alright,
many sinus
listen,
issues.
one of us has to be the stereotypical wife in this relationship and clean, and it ain't me.
You know what? We don't live in a sexist house, okay? Where like one of us is better than the other one. In our home, we are both equally lazy.
That's right.
So, boom.
Equality for
Welcome
all.
everybody to the Laugh and Be Blessed podcast, where it is complete nonsense and there is no structure. I'm your host, Jake Rubel, and with me is your other host, Chia Delana Rubella.
Ruble.
Isn't rubella a disease?
It is.
Did you know that I turned 34 in a few days?
You do.
And I never made the connection with my last name and that disease. Never. No one ever made any jokes about it. No one. That's how have I gotten this far in life without making that connection?
I don't know.
That is wild. It's crazy. It's a good time. It is wild. We've got a great show today. I'm very excited about this show. Hold that thought, Chia. I'm very excited about this show because I'm going through a really dark time today. I've got a lot of anxiety. I have a lot of issues, mental issues that I'm going to talk about. I didn't want to do the podcast today. I'm going to be honest. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do anything. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Before we get into that, what's rubella?
Rubella is a contagious viral infection preventable by vaccine and best known by its distinctive red rash. The disease can spread through direct contact with saliva or mucus of an infected person, or through the air by respiratory droplets produced from coughing or sneezing.
So basically, if I kiss you, you're gonna be a ruble. That's what I'm hearing. You're gonna be just a red ruble, just a red ruble happening. So everybody, I just want to say I love you, and even though I didn't want to do this, I'm happy we're doing it. I instantly feel better. You're just gonna? Did I have something on my forehead?
You had some dirt on your forehead.
Well, you were the last thing to touch me.
I don't know.
So it was you.
What if it was my spray tan?
Oh, that would be weird.
I hope it's not rubbing off.
I doubt it.
I just
So,
got
hey,
it
let's
today.
talk about one thing before we get into the show. Number one, let's talk about Patreon.
Yeah.
If you did not hear last week's episode, we talked a little bit about Patreon, what it was, and how it helps us. And I'm glad that we did. You know, I think sometimes we take certain things for granted. Like, we'll just be like, oh, people know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, people just know what I mean when I'm like, thank you to our Patreon subscribers. Or people are like, well, why are they asking for money and stuff like that? So...
We got bills.
we got bills. No, here's the thing, is that Patreon, I talked about it last week. I'll just bring it up real quick because I want to thank some people. Patreon is legit in place to be a safe way of showing your support for artists. So we do the podcast. If people like the podcast and they want to support the podcast, the best way of doing that is to go to patreon.com/laughandbeblessed, and there's 3 different tiers that you can join. And each tier gives you some goodies. Like, for instance, we have our first tier is a blessed one. So if you just want to be a blessed one and you want to kind of join the community and everything, it's $3 a month. And with that, you get your name shout out on the episode. You're the first to know about new merch, and also you get 10% off merch. Now, these things are subject to change because Chia didn't know any of this, and she's smarter than I am, so she may make changes as it goes on.
I may be making some changes.
Then you have Blessed to the next level. That's $10 a month. You get your name shout out on the podcast, first to know about merch, 20% off merch, and a free t-shirt. So $10 a month, you get a free shirt.
T-shirts are being produced, by the way.
And we have new designs for the t-shirt, which our first sponsor of this week, I'll go ahead and give a shout out right now. It's Soulshine Studio. If you want handmade tie-dye shirts with pretty much whatever you want on them. They're custom. Reach out to Soulshine Studio on Facebook. They'll take care of you. The best. That's who makes my shirts now. I love it.
And you.
And me. I also work there, so.
No, I mean they made you.
Oh, they did make me. Yeah, it's my mom. So that's $10 a month. $20 a month is called Blessed to the Max. And what that is, it's the first to know about new merch. Name shout out in the episode. 30% off merch. Free t-shirt. And then this one we're probably going to change because it's you can choose a blessed one of the week on the podcast and have a recording of why they're blessed to play on the show. My idea behind that was that you could do a recording of you basically saying, this person means a lot to me. They've blessed me. This is the blessed one of the week. And then I will play it on the show. But, we'll probably change that because no one's really into that. So, I don't know. So, speaking of which, if you want to be a blessed one on Patreon, it's super easy to do so. You just have to go to, I feel like I'm sitting way too far back and it sounds weird. Just go to patreon.com/laughandbeblessed, just like Danielle did.
Yeah.
Danielle, thank you very much for being a blessed one. We really appreciate your support. Thank you. And also, just being so great to Chia.
Amazing.
Thank you. And me. Rachel, thank you, Rachel, for being a Patreon contributor. Thank you for being in the comedy cult.
Yeah.
Lindsay, thank you very much, Lindsay, for everything you do.
Hi, Lindsay.
You're wonderful. You're great. Jared, thank you for being one of the first Patreon subscribers and been with us for a while. So thank you very much. And Pam, thank you very much for everything you do. You're wonderful.
Thank you for growing my husband in your belly almost 34 years ago.
You don't. Every time you tell people it's my mom, it makes it sound less legit.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like she's just a fan of the show is what I'm like, Pam, thank you, fan of the show, and you're just like, collusion.
Whoa, hold on. You just want to throw her out there as some, like, average,
just random
person.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I give her props for creating one of the most amazing people in the world. My bad. Thanks, Pam. Whoever you are on there, definitely not the person who created such an amazing person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
is that better?
Yeah, that's actually perfect. So.
I will not downgrade her like that. I'm sorry. I have more respect for her than you do.
Well, whenever you talk about it like that, it sounds worse than what I think it actually is. It sounds worse, and I don't appreciate it. So, thanks, Pam.
Say thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Pam.
Say thanks, Mom.
You
right now.
You're just not a good marketer. You got to market it. You got to throw BS against the wall and see what sticks. And then you hire someone to clean it up. We've talked about it on the show before. I feel
like that's what happened when we got married.
We've talked about this before. Hey, I got some shows coming up. If you want to see me live, it's going to be easy for you to do so. February 13th, I will be in Henderson, Kentucky. But that's a private gig, so you can't see me there. But how about February 16th? I'll be in Mishawaka with Andy Beningo. Andy Beningo in Mishawaka, February 16th. And then Evansville, February 19th for a comedy competition with some good friends of mine. February 25th, I'll be in Owensboro, Kentucky, opening for Dave Dugan. Dave's very funny. I like Dave. I also like Andy. I didn't mean to not say that about Andy. Wow. March 27th, I will be back in Evansville. And then April 9th, I'll also be in Evansville with Andy. So, we got things coming up. I'm excited about it. And hopefully these shows don't cancel. Because that happens a lot. But it's okay. I've been craving open mics. I want to go to I've not been to an open mic for a while. You're doing that right in my ear.
I'm sorry. I didn't know I was doing that.
No, it's okay. I really want to go to open mics. I've not been to an open mic in a while. And I really need it because I need to work on new jokes. And I need to keep things fresh. So, I think I'm going to start going to Gutty's open mic. Probably hitting back and forth between Gutty's and the Comedy Attic.
All right.
I'm going to try to, at least. We'll see what happens. So that's where I'm going to be. Those are the shows I'm going to be at. Let's get into this thing about what we've been doing, things that we've been doing this week. Why don't we
ever go over the dates that I'm busy?
We did this last week, and it's not funny.
Why?
Because it's the same thing every week. You're a nurse and pay all my bills.
Work.
Yeah. Wait, you just want to keep doing the same thing over and over again?
I mean, I go to the same place, but it's not the same thing over and over again. That's for sure.
I love you.
I love you.
You're just pretty.
Okay, thank you.
We did not play a game last week.
Well, we didn't play a game last Sunday.
That's what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
we usually... our whole breakdown of our Sundays is that we... Chia sleeps a lot of the Sunday, which is fine, and then I just... Because I get everything I need to get done before she wakes up, then we do the podcast, and then we play a game. And
I go
that's...
spray tan first.
Today,
I go spray tan every Sunday.
maybe twice on
This
Sundays.
is like my 4th.
On a Sunday?
Yes.
You know, I
It
didn't realize
literally
it was always
has
on
been
Sundays.
every Sunday.
Act like I'm the
Jesus.
bad guy. It's pronounced Jake. Not Jesus. It's
Are
pronounced
you serious?
Jake.
You didn't know I only went on Sundays. I've never gone any other day of the week. It has been Sundays.
I don't know what day of the week it is half the time.
Okay.
Why you gotta be like that? So, we didn't get to play our game last week, which is okay because Chi was really, really tired and she felt bad for not playing the game, but I understood and she just went to sleep. Which was fine
I love
because...
how, good you made yourself look. Like, it was okay. I understood.
No, I'm not doing it on purpose. It's just true. I ain't gotta hold your hand. Don't hold your hand out. Don't hold your hand out like you're gonna... No, you can't.
love you.
You can't verbally smack me and then under the table try to hold my hand and make it seem... They can't see you being sweet to me. So that's like you giving me a wink. Like, oh, I'm just gonna slam you. Wink. They don't know that. So they just,
It's a volatile relationship.
Yeah, okay. So, I didn't say this. I'll get it to it. So, we didn't get to play a game. I'm doing this out of order.
Just do it.
Okay, so we didn't get to play a game. Who cares? Who cares? You know what I mean? It's not like it's
Who's going to
not,
say something to our boss?
not only that, it's not like it's structured. Like, I literally only have show
What?
notes for you.
What?
Yeah. So we didn't get to do the game like we wanted to, and it was okay. She was tired, and I actually had some stuff I wanted to do. I really needed to study up on some stuff. I've since last week I got another job offer for writing for another website. So now I'm writing for Screen Rant. I'm writing for this other guy that's just like, he just needs people to fill up his website so he can sell ad space. And then I'm also now going to, I'm kind of in the trial periods of writing for a website called Backyard Boss, where I'll be talking about a lot of different farming stuff. For instance, my first assignment is I'm going to be ranking bat guano fertilizer. Yeah. What'd I just say?
Bat guano fertilizer is what you're going to be ranking. I pay attention.
You're playing on Facebook.
No,
as
I'm
if
not.
I'm having a
looking for
conversation
something.
with you, and you're
I'm
on. What are you looking
for
for?
some.
What are you
Well, I
looking for?
wasn't gonna-
Because you're just scrolling through it, looking at
No.
puppy dog. I can see
that puppy
it.
dog was really
It's
cute.
literally right there
Would
in
you
front
stop?
of me. Okay, so Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
Yeah, but...
No, it's fine.
Go ahead.
Maybe just
Go
do
ahead.
that then instead of scroll through and be like, let me catch up on everybody's life before I do the thing I want
You
to
wanna
do.
know what's great is I had already seen all those posts. I'd already seen them.
So then it's not even like interesting to you. So you're re-going over it. You're just aimlessly.
Are you being mean to me? Are you being mean
No,
to me?
sorry, Steven. Steven said if I keep being mean to Chi, he's going to give me a reverse wedgie.
And I really want to know what that is.
Which
Actually,
creepily
I do.
sounds like he's going to pull my underwear off.
I feel like I looked
You
it
did
up.
look it up, and it's
What?
where you have your pants and underwear down,
Oh,
like you're using the
yeah.
bathroom, and you have to pull them up really fast.
But you miss your underwear.
Yeah. So then you pull your pants up, but your underwear's still around your knees. It sounds like something that's not easy to
And
accomplish.
who doesn't? Who doesn't grab their underwear too?
You know, sometimes people have to get. Maybe there's a fire. Maybe somebody's dropping one, and then someone's just like house fire, and they're like, "Oh no!"
But
I would if you're pooping, if you're pooping and somebody screams fire, do you
I
still
finish.
wash? Yeah,
I finish.
I finish and wash my hands. Yep.
Like if I die, fine, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
die with some dignity.
Yeah,
Can't help
I feel like the same. I feel like I wash. I finish and then wash. You know, maybe take a shower.
As I'm screaming from the bathroom, kids, get your shoes and get outside.
Yeah, I'm glad you said shoes because I thought you were going to say something else. I was like, whoa, clean show. What are we doing? So we didn't get to play the game, but then, Thursday, Thursday, Chia went over to my mom's house. So my mom watched the kids for us Wednesday night. They ended up staying the night because a snowstorm came in, and we went to Red Lobster.
Snow
we got
day. Oh, yeah.
We got a date night. Yeah, we went to Red Lobster. We only go to Red Lobster once a year, and we've not been in 2 years, so that says a lot. It was very good. It was just a great night out. We needed it, and I was very happy for it. So the next day, Chi goes to pick the kids up, and I'm sitting at home working, and all the power goes out, which means I have no internet, which means I can't work. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna come in there then, because they have power. So Mom's boyfriend came and picked me up. His name's Junior. I don't know why I said it. So Junior came and picked me up, and we went back to her house. And then I was like, you know what? We always talk about having a game night with my mom, and then we're always like, we just can't find the time. So I just packed up so many games, and we made a night of it. We just hung out there till pretty late. And we played. Well, we played a few games.
So we played.
We played Saturday Night
Live first.
Yeah, trivia.
And then we played One Night Ultimate Werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
And by the last round, there was 8 of us playing.
Yeah, because everybody came in.
Yeah.
That was fun.
That's
you
fun.
always know that's a good game if you're in the middle of playing it and people are like, "Oh, can I play?"
Yeah.
That's a good feeling. It's
So
like, yeah, man.
We played quite a few rounds of that, and then after that, we played
Betrayal.
Mm-hmm. And then we played Hello 90s.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And then we played Sequence.
So playing Betrayal, I think we've talked about it on the show before, but Betrayal at House in the Hill is one of our favorite games. Really what it is you're playing through a scary movie. Mm-hmm. So like a haunted house scary movie. You all start together. What are you doing, Chia?
Just keep talking. You
all start out together, and then something happens and the game completely changes to where one of you's a traitor, and like for us, we were playing, the 4 of us, it was me, Chia, my mom, and Junior, we were all playing, and then the haunt happened, which
Why
means
can't you just call her Pam?
Shut up. You're so rude. Steven. Steven, get her. So then, once that happened, somebody becomes the traitor, and we've only played this game a few times, and it's my favorite game. But it's better if you have a group of people, and we rarely do. So I'm always the traitor every time we play. I was the traitor, which meant that the 3 of them was trying to kill me, and I was trying to kill them. It was a lot of fun. I love that game.
I accidentally cheated.
That's okay. And then we played Hella 90s, and that was, we played on teams, so...
Hella 90s is hella fun.
It really is. It's a pop culture trivia game, all about the 90s, and we split into teams, so it was me and Patreon subscriber Pam playing against Chia and Junior. And I did that because I thought it would be, number one, I was like, okay, well, I'll put them on a team because me and my mom are going to know a lot of pop culture stuff. And we lost.
So I don't want to be on teams with Jake. And Jake like competing against each other. And
we get real.
Me and Junior, cream them, so...
Okay, you didn't cream us. You beat me by a couple points.
Still.
No, it's not still. It's not still.
We actually only beat you by 1 point.
1 point. You didn't cream us.
I felt like it, though.
It was the timing. If we would have started... So, if we would have started the game going first instead of you going first, we would have won.
Whatever. So, and we came up with team names, so... Jake and his mom were the Golden Gals.
Yeah, not Golden Girls, because that's trademarked.
But I was trying to think of, something really 90s. So me and Junior were the Red Rangers, because you always are the Red Ranger.
Jeez. Okay.
But I have to go over some of these trivia questions.
Okay,
So this is an example, I was on the opposite team of Jake, so I asked him this question, and it's... 90s spelling bee. Just spell the name. Okay, we'll give you 2 tries. And it's crack-a-lackin'.
Yeah, and I was not able to spell it.
And then...
I don't like the spelling ones the most.
Oh, crack-a-lackin'. Oh, and then this was another one. What links these clues together? Tom Servo, Crow T Robot, Cambot.
Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, 3,000.
So, yeah,
or
3,000.
another spelling one was Frappuccino.
Yeah,
But-
so it's a really fun game.
but
But it's one of those games where...
I want to play it.
I know. We try to play it with just 2 of us, and it doesn't work.
No.
You need 3 to 4 players.
Because sometimes you have to do like a battle thing, or like one of the questions is I had to try to explain to Junior what a certain object was, but I couldn't say the names, and the object was a VCR player.
VCR player.
A VCR. But I couldn't like say tape or anything like this, and I was like, it's rectangle, and you'd put something in it, and then you'd watch something, and he got it.
Yeah, like super quick.
And then the other one was answering machine, and I was like, Junior, you're not home. Somebody calls. What happened?
He's like, answering machine. I was like, how are you guys getting all these so quick?
So great.
It is a lot of fun. We actually have a couple friends who we're setting up a game night with because they they thought about buying it, and we're like, well, we'll let you guys come over and we'll all play it.
There's another game that I want to buy for
Like a party game.
For a party game, and it's a Blockbuster game. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it looks so good.
Yeah, because it just looks like a Blockbuster rental. I just want it just for the case.
The case is sick, yeah.
But yeah, we got new games this week too. We got a new DC game, which is it's a party game too. What's it called? The Joker, a Diabolical Party Game. I have no idea what it is, but it was on sale, so I bought it. And then also got a Dungeons & Dragons board game that we're going to be playing soon. And then my mom just bought me a game for my birthday that's coming in the mail called Rune Wars. So, yeah, lots of game stuff happening. And then for my birthday this week, we're going to go to the game store because that's what I like to do. Tonight, after this, we're actually going to play a new game that we've not played yet. That's DC deck building game. So it's DC comic books, and it's a deck building game, which deck building games are my favorite kind of games, I think. Like Star Realms and Hero Realms and stuff. Which I posted a picture. I played Hero Realms solo yesterday, which people think is weird.
I don't think it's weird.
Well, I kind of get a lot of crap from it. Whenever I'm like, oh yeah, I play board games by myself. And they're like, oh, that's sad. And I'm like, is it sad that I do that? Because you play Candy Crush.
Right.
You play, yeah.
Any
it's
video
like,
game.
Any video,
you
but
play
not
by
just
yourself.
that. I don't know. Solitaire.
Yeah.
I've seen people play Solitaire. It's the same thing. It's just mine has a storyline behind it. Oh, thank you. We just got another Patreon subscriber just now from Anonymous. So they did not want their name
Well, thank you,
given.
Anonymous.
So thank you, Anonymous.
Do you think it's that like one anonymous group?
Yeah, like they're just really into what we
Yeah.
do now. And they're just like, you know what,
What
you
do
guys
they
are
do?
fighting the good fight. They just do stuff. I don't want to
Oh.
bring them up because I don't want them in my mix.
Okay.
I don't think that's them. I think it was just someone that's just like, I don't want to tell them. So thank you. So thank you, Anonymous.
Well, we're gonna shout you out.
We'll
Anyways.
shout you out if you want that free shirt. Just send me a message. So,
And we'll know who you are.
and then I got you. I know where Anonymous lives. Yeah, so I'm actually looking forward to the game tonight because solo board gaming. So I posted a picture. I played Hero Realms, and there's an expansion that we have where you can play it by yourself, and it's just a campaign to where like it's like a dungeon crawler, like Dungeons and Dragons type thing, just with cards and actually set out in front of you. And I took a picture of it and I posted it online, and the company who makes the game liked my post, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, that felt good. I'll just keep doing it. And they'll just be like, you want some free stuff? And I'll be like, yes.
Yes.
That's
Thank
what I
you.
want.
More games.
I'd love it. So I kind of want to get into, back into like what we've been doing, because that's going to steer us into the topic of the show. We have 2 topics of the show this week, but before I get into that, I do want to thank our sponsor. So our sponsor this week, our first sponsor, of course, you heard us give him a shout out at the beginning of the show. Our second sponsor is the Beautiful Wreck Podcast with Rachel Weddle. If you like podcasts, and obviously you do because you're listening to one right now, finish listening to this. I'm not saying stop it or stop it. If you want to stop it and go listen to Rachel's podcast, do that and then just come back later. And then you can be like, he was right. Go check out the Beautiful Wreck Podcast wherever you get podcasts and give her a thumbs up. You know, like it, review it, subscribe, all that fun stuff. She also has a Patreon. So if you just go to patreon.com/Beautiful Wreck Podcast, you can find her there. easiest thing is just go on Facebook. Go on Facebook and find the Beautiful Wreck podcast and just say, hey, heard about you on this other podcast, Laugh and Be Blessed, and I like what you're doing because she's great and you're going to like the show. I talk about it every week, but it's because I am a fan of her podcast and I do like it. They're short segments, and she gets into some really cool stuff. So you'll like it. They live on a farm. They live in a tiny home, and it's exciting stuff that she talks about. And she does it solo, which I think is pretty cool and noble because it's hard to do that. So go check it out. Speaking of solo, I used to do a weekly solo episode on this show. I don't do them anymore because I didn't think people liked them. Turns out maybe I was wrong. I had a few people bring it up today and say, hey, what happened to those episodes that you would do where you would talk about, like where you're at mentally and stuff that's going on. So if you want me to bring those back, if you did enjoy those or if you got something from those, can you let me know? Because I want to know if I should do them again. You can let me know. You can email me if that's easiest for you. It's just jakeandchia@gmail.com. So Jake, just like every other Jake, and Chia, CHIA, @gmail. So jakeandchia@gmail.com. Shoot me a message and just say, hey, I did get something from that. You should do it again. Or just go to Facebook and go to Jake Rubel's Blessed Ones on Facebook and let us know there. I do check that more than anything because that just pops right up on my phone. So, I went and did a podcast today. Mm-hmm. I went to my friend's house and did a podcast. Him and his brother have a really good podcast that they do together. And I went there. I brought my friend Grant with me. We had fun. Turns out that Cody's girlfriend Cheyenne is a big fan of our show.
Hey, Cheyenne.
So give you a shout out there, Cheyenne. Took her a t-shirt and took them some koozies and stuff. And I had a good time on the podcast. I liked hanging out with them. It was nice to get that kind of because you never know if people like the show. You never know if people like the podcast. And it was cool for him to be like, oh, no. We're fans of your show. We like it. Especially, he said, Cheyenne really, really likes it. She listens to every episode. So that's great. And I really appreciate that. And I love that. That's awesome. And then he was the one that brought up, hey, why don't you do the weekly stuff anymore like you used to, the short little segments? And he's like, we both really liked it. And I was like, I don't know. I didn't think anyone liked it. So we had a good time, but when I left, I felt because we talked for a long time, I have this issue where I'll open up and regret it immediately.
I do the same thing.
To where we'll be having a great conversation and I'll be like, hey man, this is how I feel. And then I'm like, shut up, don't tell your feelings. I feel like I should just keep them in. And they didn't do anything wrong. They were super supportive. They were super nice because I had asked them afterwards. I was like, hey, did I say anything I shouldn't have said? Or do you feel like I was coming off arrogant or anything like that? And they said, no, dude, it was great. If anything, it was the opposite. But man, I had so much anxiety afterwards. And the issue with me is when I get anxiety, I talk more.
Yeah.
So then I make it worse.
Same, yeah.
Because then on the way back, me and my buddy Grant are talking, and I'm just kind of we're just talking about different things, and a couple different things came up that may have seemed like I was being super negative, and I wasn't trying to be. And he probably didn't even notice, but then afterwards I'm sending him a text, and I'm like, dude, if I was being negative, I'm sorry. And it's second guessing everything I'm doing, and I don't like that part of me. I hate it. I've had anxiety ever since then, which I had anxiety before I left anyways for some reason today. I just woke up with it.
Just because you're leaving the house.
Probably, yeah. I'm a homebody. I just want to stay
not
here.
that. Just with the pandemic, it's been a little worse.
But it was just I just had so much anxiety. And then afterwards, it was so bad. And again, no one did anything. It's 100% me. Anyone who deals with anxiety knows. It wasn't my surroundings. It was me.
Yeah.
It was me second guessing everything. And so I went on Facebook and I'd said something along the lines of, I will never walk away from a conversation and not think, what did I just say wrong?
Yeah.
And I don't think people understand how many of us are like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to talk about because I think that it is something that so many people deal with and they think I'm weird because of it, or they think oh man, no one deals with this.
No.
And oh man,
I do too. And
yeah.
I'll start rambling whenever I'm talking and I'm like, oh crap, I shouldn't have said that, so now I'm going to explain myself. And then I, like, over-explain myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh, am I, like, dominating this conversation now? I should probably be quiet. But then I'm like, oh, I'm being too quiet, and this is going to be weird, so now I need to talk more. And then it's, like, a constant conflict. And it's not all the time. I can do short conversations, and it's fine. If I get into long, drawn-out conversations with people, that's when it's a problem.
Yeah, no, well, and so that's where I think...
Especially about, like, different lifestyles. I love learning about different lifestyles. But I have to be careful because I'll feel really guilty if I say something wrong. Like, if we start talking about marriage in general. I love talking about my marriage with you. I think my marriage with you is fantastic. But I don't like getting into long conversations about marriage because then...
Like, you don't want to make it seem like you're bragging
Right.
or saying, like, I have a good marriage.
I don't like bringing out the negative of my marriage, not just to other people, but there's things about our marriage that at times aren't so great, but I don't like dwelling on that because me and you work through that, and then it's over.
Right.
So when I talk about our marriage, the majority of the time, people only hear the good things.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm in a group of women and we're talking about marriage, and as women will do, sometimes we talk about things that annoy us with our husbands, just the same as our kids or our jobs or something, you know. I don't say a lot about what annoys me about you, and I will be around other women, and not every woman does this, and they'll be going on and on about these things about their husbands or their mother-in-laws, and I'm like,
Do you
so
think,
I'm like,
though...
if I'm part of the conversation, all I'm going to say is good things about you or my mother-in-law, and then I'm like, do they think I'm, like, putting on a front, like this isn't real, that I'm lying, that my life isn't as great as it is, or, like, I just try to focus on the positive in things.
Yeah.
And so
Which is good, but do you think that you feel if you do open up and you're like, oh yeah, Jake does this thing, you know, that really bugs me, which I'm sure there's a plethora of things.
No.
Do you feel like it's you almost like not having my back?
Yes.
See, that's how I feel with you.
I feel like I'm betraying my best friend if I run my mouth about you.
There's like
and
three people.
honestly,
There's 3 people in this world, maybe 2, that I will talk about if me and you have any kind of issues or any kind of problems or anything like that. I will talk, but more for advice.
Yeah.
You know, I don't really get into, oh man, she is doing this. It's just like, you know, what would you do here? And one of them's my mom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she
And
always takes your side.
I'm fine with that because not only is it your mom, but it's not like it's someone who doesn't know me. She's known me since I was 14 years old, so that's okay.
Yeah. And so, but that's why I think, and I'm not saying anyone who does it. See, now I'm second guessing, like,
right,
oh, people are going to think that
exactly.
I'm not talking trash about anybody. I'm saying how we are.
Yeah.
If you feel like you have to, you know, vent to people sometimes about your spouse to feel, I don't know, whatever.
Sometimes you have to do it to work through it yourself. Yeah. If you
people go to priests for a reason,
right.
You know. See, now I'm going to think that people are like, oh, you talk about Catholics. No, I'm just saying, like, in general, like venting. Like, sometimes you just have to vent. And I understand that, and I get that. I think the difference is that I vent to you about you.
Yeah.
And, but not everyone can do that because I feel like there's definitely couples I know that if the husband or the wife was to say anything negative about the other person to them at that moment, and there's been, even in our relationship, there's been many times where I could not openly say something to you or you couldn't say it to me without you feeling brokenhearted or me being angry.
Yeah. I think what changed there in our relationship is we accept that that's going to happen sometimes.
And well, that and knowing you understanding and knowing that it's coming helps your approach towards it.
Yeah.
To where it, like, I will let you know, like, hey, don't take this the wrong way, but I want to tell you something. You know, and I'll just, and usually it's about you being a little cold-hearted.
What?
No, it usually is.
What?
But it's in it, but you also have you're correct in the way that you do it. I'm not,
Yeah.
and you're never. But I'm just like, hey, maybe chill out for a second. Like maybe just calm down and let me talk to you
Listen.
about this person without you
Simmer
being
down.
so mad.
What?
Yeah.
But that's one of the many examples of how I feel in conversations, because I'm like, oh, now I'm talking too good about my marriage. So then I try to backtrack, and I try to think of something that you do that annoys me, but also it's not me putting you down. So then I'll talk about that, and then I'm like, well, now I feel bad because I kind of said something bad
Yeah.
about my husband. So then I'm like, I don't even know how I'm supposed to contribute to this conversation.
Well, and you shouldn't. I think that's what it comes down to, is that there's people that can do that kind of stuff and feel okay about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to learn that, because one of the things I feel like I messed up earlier today in my conversations is literally right before Grant got out of the car, I kind of vented to him about something. And it was something that doesn't concern either one of us. And it literally shouldn't even have been talked about.
Yeah.
And I don't even know why it came up or
Yeah.
why I said it.
Yeah.
And I felt like it made him a little uncomfortable, and I hated that feeling.
Yeah.
To be like, oh, I just
You
did
don't
the
want to
thing.
put people in awkward positions.
And not just that, but like I literally was complaining to him about people complaining to me.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a thing to where I was
I've
like,
done that.
to where I was like, and
hate
not them
it.
complaining to me, but like people being negative to me when I'm like, man, I'm just trying to stay positive. And then whenever he got out of the car, I was like, I just did that to him with this
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
So then I sent him the text and was just like, dude, I didn't mean to make you feel neggy, you know?
Oh, neggy.
I was like, I didn't mean to do that at all. Like, hopefully your vibe wasn't ruined by what I just did. And I don't know why it's human nature to do that kind of stuff sometimes, because I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I hate that feeling, and I don't even know why. I literally brought it upon myself.
Right.
But then, kind of going back to it, like, I feel like if we talk about it, and just get it out of the way, like, that just helps so much. Like, I feel much better even now just talking about it.
Yeah.
Because it was really, really bad earlier. Like, I felt like, the way I described it was, I felt like there was a black cloud rolling through my mind with tiny needles on the end of it, just scratching.
Yeah.
And that's the way I felt. And she, luckily, I have a spouse who like gets whenever she knows how to handle me in those situations to help me. Not like how to handle me like with kid gloves or anything, but she knows how to help me and like pull me back. Maybe with kid gloves. Maybe with kid, a little bit.
I
with
mean,
kid
come
gloves.
on.
And I know this
No.
is a deep subject for us to talk about, and last week was kind of a deep subject too, I feel like, and now we're being deep
Wrong
again.
with us.
Maybe that's why I do need to do like the weekly thing where I just kind of
Yeah.
say what's going on in my head, and we just keep this lighthearted and everything, which we will end lighthearted. We're gonna
Yes.
get into some fun stuff.
We are.
But I felt, I want to be real. I want to
Yeah.
be real in the show, and I want to just let you
I
guys
think
know
it's
how I
important to
feel.
talk about. It's, half of the show is laugh, half is be blessed, and I think talking about things that are kind of taboo, it's a part of the blessing. I think a lot more people deal with anxiety than what everyone realizes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when someone says, oh, that person has anxiety, we automatically are like, oh, that's a medical condition. They should probably see someone about it. And at times, that's true.
Yeah.
At times, your anxiety is so overwhelming that you do need a professional to help walk you and guide you through the difficult times in life. But a vast amount of people just deal with anxiety on a, I don't know how to say this without saying it, on a PRN basis. PRN is as needed though. Not on an as needed basis, but just on a just spur of the moment basis, I guess. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying. You
Yeah,
all
I
know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
I know what you mean too.
And so, I think it's important to talk about coping mechanisms. One of the things I do is, I work in Bloomington. I work at the hospital. I work with a diverse group of people. I'm not gonna pretend like it's a huge diversity, okay? But I do have a lot of people I work with of different
Just different
religions,
backgrounds,
different
yeah.
backgrounds, different ways of life. So I will.
You're being careful now not to say
I
something
am.
offensive.
I
See,
am.
that's
But
what I'm saying. We always are like
I
this.
will say something. I'll make sure I say beforehand, hey, I'm not trying to be rude, but I genuinely want to know
Yeah.
X, Y, Z.
Well, here's the
and
thing.
if I do that, if I'm like, I don't know how to say this and be politically correct, but this is something I don't understand.
Yeah.
And usually if I'm up front, I'm saying, I want to learn more about this. I just don't know how to ask this question and not sound offensive. I'm going to do the best I can. And
Well,
usually I find out that I
yeah.
wasn't offensive.
Right, but that's what I was going to say is that that's almost always to do with religion with you. Those situations.
It's not.
Usually.
I've had a few other things.
No. I'm saying, yeah, but most of the time you've talked with it, it's about religion, which has always been, you've been very fascinated by different religions. Yeah. You have a lot of different books on it and stuff, and you like studying that stuff. And it's easier for you to understand if you go straight to the source.
Right.
I'm going to sneeze.
Do it.
It's there.
Go for it. It's not.
I sneezed. I sneezed so big just now. I had to edit out. It was such a big sneeze.
It didn't hurt
I didn't want to hurt.
ears.
Yeah, I didn't want to hurt anyone's ears, so I edited it out. But no, I think that's okay to do, and I do that sometimes with my friends too, where I'm like, hey, just. I'm really curious about this thing, but also I approach it in a way where I'm like, I just want to make sure I'm always on the right side. So can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
And yeah, they're always like, oh, of course, yeah, because if you just pretend like it's nothing, you know what I mean? That can be more offensive sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a good way, but also it just be people, be humans, be good people, and.
Do you have any certain situations where you feel more anxiety than the rest?
That's a good question. Anytime I'm opening up, it's anytime that I'm opening up about my feelings. I feel like if I open up about my feelings, it gives me anxiety because I always second guess what I say, and more than that, I'm worried people are going to take it the wrong way. For instance. Earlier we were talking, and I feel weird when people give me, like, compliments about stuff.
Yeah.
And I just got a couple compliments, like, about the shows I've been doing and stuff. And I worked really hard to make sure that I wasn't sounding arrogant or pompous or, like, I deserve this or anything like that. And I was worried that it was the other way around. Like, it made it sound like I was saying I deserve all this and I earned this. Oh, yeah. And that worries me because I don't want people to look at me like something that I'm not.
Right.
I'm very grateful for what I have. I have a lot of work to do. I know that I'm really, just scratching the surface on what's to come. And I'm just blessed. Like, I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with the things that are going on. And I know that a big part of that is that God set out a path before me, and I'm walking down the path. And I think people get weirded out when I say that, but I really feel like that's it. There's only two logical explanations for my life at this moment. Because I'm talking about anxiety right now, but it's just me feeling anxious. I'm not depressed.
Right.
And I've not been depressed almost my whole life.
That's another mistake people make, is that they're one and the same. You can deal with both anxiety and depression, but you can also have them as separate things you deal with.
Yeah, and that's my thing I'm dealing with now is just I get social anxiety really bad. So in social situations is when it's the worst for me. Right. If I'm talking to people, especially.
But you love people.
I know it's weird, right? No, but like I said, I think there's only two logical explanations for the way that my life is at the moment, because I feel very clear-headed. I feel very good. I'm very blessed right now. Is that God is just laying the path out before me, and I'm finally trying to listen to God instead of listen to what I think God is saying, and I'm going with my spirit, I'm going with my gut, and I'm just walking the line as well as I can. That's one explanation. The other explanation, which I still think is a possibility, is that I'm in a coma right now. You laugh, but things are so good in our life.
I know.
That I'm like,
true.
Maybe I'm in a coma.
You are.
And that's what this podcast is you just in the hospital room talking to me.
That's what's happening.
And then all the people are like, oh, I listen to the podcast, or like those are the nurses coming in that are just like, I love the relationship you and your wife have.
Well,
I'm figuring out. See, I don't want to get
So-
into, but if I get too deep into it, I'll wake up, and I don't want to wake up.
so, I mean, isn't it strange that a lot of your listeners are the people that work with me?
Now you're freaking me out. No, I don't want to, because what if I wake up and I don't want to? Like, if this is a coma,
You don't want to wake up to me?
This is so great. This is so great. You're
Are
like the
you
best
kidding
version
me?
you've ever been.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you before the coma, I could hardly deal with. You now is great.
Do you want to fight?
No.
You wanna fight right
what,
now?
What are you going to do? I'm in a
will-
coma. I'm in a
yeah,
coma. What are you going to do?
I'm going
I
to turn
will
this
think-
into a nightmare.
I will think happy thoughts, and it'll just...
You're in a
poof.
coma?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there talking to you.
Okay.
And you're being rude to me. I'll just pull every plug I can.
You don't know I'm being rude, though, because this is in my mind.
Oh.
You know? I'm just saying, like, it's a possibility. So, I don't know. So, I do feel better. Talking
Yeah.
about anxiety and
Yes.
get it all out. And if you struggle with anxiety, you're not alone. And I know everybody always says that, but you really are not alone. I struggle with anxiety a lot.
Yeah.
It may not seem like it because I'm in social situations a bunch. It's kind of half of my job is to be in front of a bunch of people all the time, or as often as people let me be in front of people. See, even then I felt like I was being arrogant. Like, I just feel... I know, I can't help it.
You know when my moments are is in other groups of women. Not at work. I do have these situations sometime at work, but we don't have a lot of time at work to get into large conversations. So on those nights when maybe things are a little slower and we do 100%, at some point I get anxiety and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or that was rude. But most of the time my conversations with my coworkers are quick 5-10 minute conversations, if that. Sometimes we have a conversation, stop, go take care of patients, and be like, what were we saying? Oh yeah, and it's been 20-30 minutes. So
Yeah.
I have time to be like, oh, don't say that, that's dumb, or something like that.
Sure.
But when I am just out with friends, or I do have those long conversations, I at some point get awful anxiety. That's why I love being around you and your friends.
Mm-hmm.
I love being around guys because I don't feel like I have to contribute to the conversation.
Some guys are also very gossipy.
That's
so
true.
that's what I was gonna say. I think
Yeah.
that's the issue, is that you only get that way if gossip starts.
That's true.
If you guys start talking, but again, it's not even gossip necessarily. It could be complete truth, but if the conversation goes negative at all,
That's true.
that's where, because I feel like that's it, and that's why I was so
That's true.
upset earlier, is because I'm the one who steered the conversation negative.
Negative, yeah.
And I'm like, that's not me. What am I doing? Like,
Because I used to try to go on like girls' nights out, and I would come home crying. Because I would go out with women who I looked up to. I thought, oh, this is going to be a great experience. And then I would come home crying because something they said was negative towards me or negative towards someone else. Or there was one time I was with some women and they made fun of another woman who is a part of our community. And wasn't born here, so she still has her accent, and they made fun of her accent, and I laughed along with it, and immediately was like, I am a piece of crap.
yeah.
Why did I just do that? And I came home crying to you because I was like, I am the worst person. That was terrible. I shouldn't have. And a few similar things like that had happened with those particular women before, and I ended up slowly ending my friendship with them because I was like, I'm turning into that, and I can't do that.
Yeah.
But so I think you're right. So because but the majority of your friends, I don't feel like, and the ladies that I've hung out with here recently, I don't have that same. We're
But
very
that's
positive
by-
and uplifting.
But it's by design. Like, we
Yeah.
did that on purpose.
Yeah.
We, on purpose, was just like, let's just have positivity. So then whenever we promote negativity in any
Yeah.
way, we feel that much worse because it's like, no, I don't want to be that thing that I can't stand to be around.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you noticed that about yourself and was like,
Yeah.
that's not the person I want to be, I feel like speaks to your character.
Yeah.
Because you being honest enough to say, oh, I did this,
don't wanna
I did
be-
this thing, and it
Yeah.
was wrong, and then I changed. You know?
I don't want to be a part of a mean girls group.
Yeah, and I don't either. As much as I love the movie, I don't either. And
You only love the movie for one reason.
yeah, Tina Fey. Tina
No.
Fey wrote that movie, and that's why.
Is that why?
She's amazing.
You didn't have a crush on any of the girls when you were that age.
Let's talk about the topic of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get away from the negative. Let's move into the negative.
Yeah, honey, it's not your fault. The path Lindsay Lohan went down, okay?
I don't know why you gotta say her name. You know, I don't know why you gotta go there.
You got a thing for the redheads.
Why do you have to say her name? You know, it's just I feel bad for her, and I just I wish
You could
I
save her, right?
I want to send good vibes to her. You
I
know?
bet you do.
You knock it off. All right, let's move into the topic of the show. Tots.
Well, that's part of it. Was anxiety.
Well,
It's
but that's
written right there.
Yeah, but technically, that was the lead into
Let's
the
get
topic
into
of
the
the show.
tots.
Let's get into the tots.
The tots. Okay.
They're delicious. They're crispy.
Okay.
It's tots time.
So
This week, I want to talk about. You will. Calm down.
I just want to say it.
Maybe you should start coming up with topics, and then you could do it.
I'm more spontaneous than that, Jake.
False. The only reason we have topics is for you, and then you're always like,
What topic are we doing this week, honey? What topic are we gonna do this week?
"What
I
if
have to
that's?"
have some direction in my life.
I hope as we grow, that's what your voice becomes.
I just want you to slowly get to the point where you talk
Well,
to me
let
like
me
this.
start smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day now.
Honey, come over here. I just want to give you a little smack on the lips. I think you're gorgeous.
I wish I could do the same thing to you, but I can't do voices.
Yeah.
So
Because you are a voice. That right there. It's like you just can't get out of it. You're doing one now.
I
You just
want to sound just like Fran Drescher.
Done.
Stop it!
Mr. Sheffield.
I'll do it.
No. Okay, so let's get into the topic of the show.
Let me ask the question.
Okay, that's the question.
Okay.
You're not going to say it right.
The topic of the show is, was there a moment as a parent where you stopped and thought, what am I doing here? So we're before we get into what everyone else has to say, I want you to answer this question.
Okay, I was going to say parenting roadblocks and then let you explain what a parenting roadblock
No,
was.
I went to,
No, you went right to the thing.
Yeah,
But
that's what
now
a
there's no
parenting roadblock-
name for it.
oh my God.
You're the one who wants structure in your life.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have married me.
Stop it.
You shouldn't have married me. There's where it went wrong. It went terribly wrong. I'm always worried that people think
I'm
that
all
you're
about a
doing.
fixer-upper.
Well, I'm always worried that people think that you're my caretaker.
I am.
Because we went to whenever we went out to eat, you dressed really nice, and I had on bibbed overalls and had to change. Because I was like, I can't go out with you like this. People are just gonna think you're doing charity
Listen.
work.
We have
You're
been
out of my league.
in a pandemic. I am a nurse who works usually 4 days a week. And I do my best to take care of this
Your
family.
eyes are so pretty.
When I go out of this house, I don't care if it's just a Red Lobster. I don't
Just
care.
a Red
I don't,
Lobster.
okay.
We're not fancy people. Red Lobster's as fancy as we get.
But
You know where we go if it's not Red Lobster?
Freddy's.
Speedway.
Oh, Speedway's the best.
We just go to Speedway and get hot dogs and
God, let's
tornadoes.
Let's go do that.
Okay, we'll do it later after we play games or during games. I don't know.
But
Yeah,
or
so
I
you
don't
want
care
to
if
look
it's
good.
to the feed store. I'm gonna look pretty.
You did
okay?
look pretty in the feed
Thank
store,
you.
and they looked at you.
No,
And
they didn't.
I like when
Nobody
no,
looks at me.
False. They look at
Nobody
you, and I
looks
look
at you. You're
back.
so
No, they'll
stupid.
look at you, and I just look back and wink at them.
No, you don't.
Because I'm just like, yeah, that's
Pinky
right.
promised me.
I've done it before.
Stop it.
100% looked at people and winked at them whenever they look at you. You're out of my league.
You're such a
You're
liar.
out of my league. No, you are. You're the girl that at the end of the movie the guy on the lawnmower gets. You're the
Did
girl.
you just compare yourself to the water boy?
No, I wasn't thinking of that. I was. What's that movie?
I don't know.
It's got the guy from Grey's Anatomy in it.
Oh,
McDreamy
I
or
don't
whatever.
know.
It's,
McDreamy.
wasn't that what his name is?
Yeah.
McSteamy? I don't know.
No, that's McDreamy.
Okay.
McSteamy is somebody else.
Well, there's a movie where he's on a lawnmower
Okay.
and he pulls up. And the funny thing
What
is
it?
that
Patrick Dempsey. That's his
yeah,
name.
when I was growing up, guys would try to pick girls up on lawnmowers too, but it's because they had a DUI. It wasn't a romantic thing. So, what's the name of that movie?
I don't know. No, I'm.
The world will never know. There's
You
no way of
just-
us finding out.
Just talk.
You know, I
IMDb it.
obviously, I was just making a joke.
I know, you idiot.
I feel like it's called like sweet. I feel like the word sweet in it.
You know, people are yelling at this right now.
They're screaming it. They're screaming.
How do you even spell Patrick?
Well, it starts with a P and ends with probably a K, maybe a C. Sometimes they get fancy with it.
Oh my god, I'm just gonna put in Grey's Anatomy and then find him there.
You're just gonna go backwards?
Jesus, yes.
Well, that's J.
Oh my god. Stop.
S.
Stop.
Did you find it yet?
I did.
You couldn't spell that?
No,
you couldn't
I
spell
couldn't.
Patrick?
I couldn't.
Ugh.
Oh wait, I think that was it.
That's probably it right there.
Is it Can't Buy
Me Love? Yeah.
You're way off,
No,
dude.
no, that's it. I thought it's because he's real sweet in it, and that's so that's it. Okay, so let's talk about. So you want me to do my parenting thing first?
Yes.
Can I, there's so many, but can I just talk about my most recent one?
Oh yes.
Okay, so my most recent one is just now. My most recent one is that there's two of them, but one of them I have to have permission to talk about.
Okay.
So I'll do the girl first.
Okay.
And then if you say I can talk about the boy, I'll talk about the boy.
The most recent thing with the little boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just didn't know if it was okay. So
I don't think. I mean.
I think it's fine. So with Jasmine, she got very sick the other night. She came up to me and she was. And my kids are sick a lot. It happens. People are always like, your kids are always sick, and I'm like, they're not. It's just when one gets sick, it lasts a long time because it goes through all three of them, and then sometimes back around. But then they won't be sick again for a long time. So mind your business. I don't like when people say stuff like that. When they're like, your kids are sick all the time. I'm like, oh, my kids are puny.
I don't like it
either. Don't talk bad about my kids.
Whenever, like, Jasmine was in kindergarten, people did that, and then the boys were in kindergarten, they're like, why are your kids sick all the time? Because they're in kindergarten. Guess what? When your kid goes to kindergarten, they're going to get sick a lot, too, because they're around more kids. That's what happens.
Yeah, and they're building their immune system, so, beat it. So, you're being negative. So the other night, Jasmine came in here and she's like, I don't feel very good. My stomach hurts. And she does this a lot. Mm-hmm. And I always say the same thing.
Did you poop?
Did you poop? Because the kid will be like, my stomach hurts. And I'm like, well, go poop. And then she'll go poop. And then she comes back and she's like, yeah, I feel better. And I'm like, well, yeah, just quit. Why do I have to remind you? You're almost 12. Figure it out. So she came in and she said that. And I was like, well, go try to use the bathroom. See what happens. If you don't feel better for that, have a glass of water and just lay down for a little bit. And then Holden came in, which is like laughing because it's Holden, and he's just like, Jasmine needs you, man. And I was like, oh no. So I went in there, and Jasmine's sitting sideways on the toilet because that's how she poops. It's not like a just this time thing. She always sits on the toilet sideways, and I don't know why.
So she can put her Kindle on the sink if she needs to.
Probably. So anyways, so she's sitting sideways, just projectile vomiting everywhere.
How does that
now,
work?
she's aiming towards the trash can, but ignoring the fact that the trash can is there. I'm like, if you just would have, swiveled on your weird throne to the shower, you could have puked in the shower and I could have cleaned it up really easy.
Yeah.
Or pull that trash can a little closer and puke in it. But no, she filled the entire bathroom floor up with throw up. And then not only that, she was pooping while doing it and clogged the toilet with toilet paper. So then she just gets up and it's like, and I can't be mad because I'm like, geez, Jazz. I'm like, what are you doing? Use the trash can. And then she's like, I'm sorry, like as she's puking. So then I'm like having to calm her down. I'm like, baby, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. She's like, I'm so sorry. I did this. I did all of this.
Stop.
And I'm like, I'm like, you're completely okay. It's not a big deal. So then she finishes and she gets cleaned up, goes out of the room so I can clean up her huge mess. And I take a picture and send it to Chia, and I'm like, how's your night? Because she clogged the toilet, the plunger was sticking out of the toilet, and the water was about to come out. And it was like, just poop. Like, so gross. So then I just had to clean all that up. And at one point, I'm standing in the middle of the room, just mopping up throw up all off the floor. And I was just like, this is me. Like, this is my life. Like, this is what I do now. I'm just this guy. Like, when did this happen? And it made me think, like, Do you ever get to that point where you have to stop and you just be like, what's happening here? Like just a weird place in your life where you're like, oh, now this is happening. Yesterday, this is another one since she says it's okay. Yesterday, my son comes up to me and is just he says, "Dad, I can only feel one of my balls," and I was like, well. Explain yourself, because that's not a normal thing. Evidently, one of his testicles had went up inside of his body cavity, which apparently is a normal thing for little boys. It happens. Really freaked us out. It freaked me out, and it freaked him out.
If it's normal yet, we still got to see the doctor.
Well,
about
whenever
it.
you talk to the nurse, she acted like, yeah, that happens sometimes. So it's not like as long as he's not in pain, it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, freaked us out. And so then I'm like having to feel for a nut on my son, and I'm like,
So same thing. I felt the same because whenever I contacted our NP before I called the doctor, she's like, well, have him lay down and then press on his groin to see if you can get it to descend. So I'm laying there, or I've got my 8-year-old child laying on our bed with his pants down, and I'm pressing on his groin, trying to get a ball to descend.
it's
and
like
I'm
it's not funny, but it's so weird.
When I decided to become a parent,
This was not what I had
and I'm
in
like
mind.
sitting there trying to palpate to make sure both of his testicles are down. I'm like, nobody told me this.
Yeah, what parenting book is this in?
I knew I'd have to deal with their genitalia when they were babies. That's fine. But he's 8. I didn't think I was going to have to do this anymore. Like,
Since I did 2 kids, I'll do the third. Because
Okay.
Holden's given me many, many times like this. Holden's deep. Last night, I didn't tell you this yet.
Oh, God.
I didn't tell you this yet. Holden came in here last night and he sat down next to me and he goes, Dad, let me ask you a question. And then I always know it's going to be bad. And he goes, do you ever think that one of us is dead?
oh my God.
He said, do you ever think that maybe one of us is dead and in heaven and remembering when this moment happened?
Stop it.
I swear he said that to me. And I was like, well, now. And he's just like, but here's the funny thing about Holden, is he says that and then he giggles and leaves the room. Like, he doesn't want a conversation about it. He's just like, you ever think about this? Bye!
You just wanted to put it in your head.
And then leaves.
I love it.
And I think he does it on purpose. He asked me one time, I think I brought it up with the show before, but he's like, do you ever feel like existence is just a meaningless void?
What?
And I'm like, yeah, kinda. But it's like, he'll just say these things and then just walk out, and I'm like, what 10-year-old are you? He's just, man, that was weird.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think he does it on purpose. But, he's got a point. He's got a great imagination.
So apparently there's other parents out there that have the same moments as us. And so we'll get into these. One of them
Jeez.
is
A
Patreon
supporter,
Pam, a.k.a. your mama. I
First
want
of
to
all,
read one.
We
Let me
asked
read
this
the first one.
We asked this question in the Facebook group. So
Yeah.
usually before we do a show, we'll ask a question on the Facebook group. Again, it's Jake Rubel's Blessed Ones, and which I've thought about changing the name just to The Blessed Ones.
Why?
I don't know. I feel
like it.
Well, the only reason I did that was because of people at shows or whatever. It'd be easy for them to
I like
find
it.
So
Do it.
okay, I just
Okay.
I just don't want to be.
I'm going to read the
possessive.
first one, okay? So this is from your mom. She said, how about the time I found a dead toad in my freezer?
It was hot outside. I was
How old were you?
probably 6.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was outside and I was playing and it was very hot, and there was a frog toad, and he looked hot, and I just wanted to help the guy. I wanted, and I knew that the freezer was cold, and I wanted to help him out, and I put him in the freezer, and it turns out he died.
Did you forget about him?
Yes. And then whenever she screamed and reminded me, I cried real hard.
Aw.
Because that was
Did
when
you
I
feel
learned about
bad?
death.
Oh, God.
Yes. So, yeah, I didn't know that he would die if I did that. And he didn't make it. He didn't make it. And I buried him. But here's the weird thing. When I was burying him, because a lot of people are probably like, well, he may have survived, because like you could freeze stuff and then thaw it out and it can survive. When I was burying him, I accidentally cut him in half and cried harder because it freaked me out. Because I was just a kid. Why am I 6-year-old with a shovel having a ceremony by myself? You know, Mom was just like, "Well, just go take care of it." And then no one discussed it with me. You know, not that Mom's bad. She's great and I love her.
She probably just thought it's a toad. I don't need to go in depth about this.
Yeah, I probably didn't say anything to her. She probably just didn't think about it. She's just like, yeah, it's just an animal. It's just a toad. It's fine. But I was just like, oh, this is why life is a meaningless existence.
So we'll go to the next one.
Okay.
Or the time, again, this is your mom.
Yeah.
Or the time I found you on top of the refrigerator when you were just 2. Still haven't figured out how you got up there.
So I don't remember this. I don't remember this situation at all.
She says she could write a book on these things.
But I do know, it may have been that time or another time, she would find me eating sticks of butter a lot. I would eat just sticks of butter.
So this was also a moment for me when I was like, what is going on here? So Holden was probably about the same age as you. He was 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I would buy those Nutri-Grain cereal bars and put them up on top of the fridge, and the kids ate them all the time. So I'm walking through the house, and by this time, you know, I've had all 3 kids. Roman's a baby. So there's a high chair in there, and he pushes the high chair. I just walk in, and I find him with the high chair up against the refrigerator to where the back of it is against the refrigerator. And he had crawled up on the tray, crawled up on the back of the high chair, and was standing on his tiptoes, reaching up, getting it. And I walked, and we just locked eyes. And the good mother that I am looked at this little bitty child, and I said, don't move, I'm going to get a camera. So I have a picture somewhere of this moment.
It was really funny. Yeah. There's been so many times, though, like, and I know that as soon as we're done recording, I'm going to think of 50 other times.
Oh, I have another story.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Well, let me read Rachel. So Rachel Weddle, who again has a great podcast. It's called the Beautiful Wreck Podcast. Rachel says, when Henry was around a month old, we were walking down our driveway with Henry in the car seat stroller and Lincoln helping to push. Those are great names, by the way. Mm-hmm. We stopped to pick up some acorns, but Lincoln wasn't done pushing the stroller and pushed Henry right off the side of our driveway down into the ditch. It's funny now because no one got hurt, but I screamed bloody murder.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like, yeah. So, Will, there's times, like, I'm trying to teach my kids responsibility right now, mostly so I don't have to cook for them as much. But Holden and Jasmine really like cooking. And now Roman, he made dinner tonight. Roman made chicken noodle soup tonight.
Oh, it was so good with his Nana.
Yeah, like homemade chicken noodle soup. So
good.
But Holden was making pizza rolls last night. Mm-hmm. And I've watched him make them I don't know how many times. He's 10 years old, which I don't know if people think that's weird, but to me it's like whatever.
That's
like yeah. So I've watched him I don't know how many times make pizza rolls. And he came in here and he's like, "Hey, can I make some?" I said, "Yeah, just be careful. You know exactly what you're doing," and walked him through all the necessary steps, like always. And then as he's pulling the pizza rolls out of the oven, I guess he pulled them quickly, and the pan touched his stomach, and now he's got like a burn on his stomach.
It's like a straight line of a burn.
And he screamed, and I ran in there, because I was like, oh, he burned himself. Like, I knew what happened, and I ran in there, and was just like, "Are you okay?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I just don't know where to set this." And I was like, "Oh, I thought you burned yourself." He's like, "No, I just got to set this down somewhere." I'm like, "So you're okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And because he was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And then I helped him set the stuff down, and he came in the bedroom to eat them because we were watching YouTube. And whenever he walked in, I seen the mark, and I said, "You burned yourself, didn't you?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "It's okay, man. Just like now you know the situation." So what's your thing?
Okay, so another time I was like, how did I get here? What is going on?
This is my life now.
I knew from the beginning that Jake doesn't do poop. He really did not change too many poopy diapers. He changed a lot of pee diapers. But
I did a lot of the housework, and I did a lot of the bottles whenever I had to.
Yes,
I know, but you're just making it like I don't want people to think that I was just like a jerk who was just like, you changed your ones.
He wasn't big on poop. He's fine now, obviously. Cleaned up puke and poop.
Oh no, I almost threw up a lot. It was rough.
You know, we had dogs before kids, and that's when I figured out real quick he could not handle poop very well. So
I'm a man.
Jasmine and Holden are babies. I might be pregnant with Roman at the time. I can't remember. So I go take a shower.
Holden's gonna hate you. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You've already done it.
I go take a shower.
He hates you.
And I hear, oh my God, Chia, get out here. So I walk out. I have shampoo in my hair.
No, you don't just hear that. You hear Chia, get out here. Then you hear me go, drop it.
So I run out. Shower water still running. I jump out, throw a towel around me. My hair is soapy and wet. And I walk out, and right in front of me in the hallway is Jasmine and Holden. There's poop everywhere. Holden has poop in his hand and was going for his mouth. Jake throws up his hands and slowly walks backwards and says, I can't.
No.
I just can't.
No. I was just like, no.
So he goes to the bedroom. So I get both the kids naked,
Why
throw
are you
them
married
in the
to me?
bathtub.
I'm such a jerk.
I throw them in the bathtub, rinse them off, get them out, sit them on the bathroom floor. Of course, I have to shut the door because they're still wandering around. I bleach clean the bathtub, then put them back in for an actual bath. Scrub them, wash them, go put them in their room. I come out, I wipe the whole floor down, then I sanitize it and clean it up. Again, I am naked this entire time. I have a towel wrapped around me and shampoo in my hair the entire time.
You know, that story just says I'm married to a piece of garbage. Like, I get that you feel like it's a sweet story.
It's so
No.
funny.
That whole story is just you saying my husband is garbage.
Do you want me to fix it a little?
No,
After my
probably
C-sections, my husband washed my hair for me. Does that help?
No, that's not like that's I'm just
I'm just
as I
saying,
should.
you do good stuff too.
Yeah, but that's just a normal thing that every
well,
husband
honey,
should
you
do.
couldn't handle it. I wasn't about to clean up your vomit too, so.
Yeah, because it was coming. It's just funny that it just sounds like such. That whole story is just like, so Jake doesn't do anything as a parent.
I said you don't do poop.
No, because I'm like, my kids burn themselves around me. I won't touch their poop.
But you did. You cleaned up Jasmine's puke and unclogged the toilet.
I made Holden do it.
No.
No, I didn't.
Now hold on a minute, though. If I hadn't been at work.
Oh, no, you would have done it. Like, you would have. I'd have unclogged the toilet after you cleaned up the puke.
So you were just like, you do it if I'm not here, but if I'm here,
Like,
you're
I'll do it as needed. I'm PRN dad. I'm like as needed.
Okay, go on.
Now you got the next one. I did Rachel.
Okay, Kate Rannard said, every time, she's talking about her son here, every time he pees all over the seat and I say, just put the seat up, then my son tells me, well, if you take the seat off, we wouldn't always have to take... I just imagine this little boy.
Well, if you just take the seat off, we wouldn't always have to talk about me peeing all over the seat.
He's 5.
Yeah, he also listens to this podcast, so hey, buddy.
Hey.
Stop peeing on the seat.
All right. And then the last one, Rebecca Geiger.
Says, when I was pregnant for 3 years and had 4 kids in car seats. That's literally all she needs to say.
Yeah.
We don't understand completely, but the fact that we had all 3 of our kids back to back.
Yeah, within a 4-year time span.
Very rough. We were pregnant for a while.
Yeah.
And I can say we. Chia was pregnant, but, it definitely affected me as well. So, yeah, that was a time. That was a time for sure. So, I think that's the only ones that we had to talk about. But yeah, I just there's definitely a lot of those times. There's a lot of those times where I'm thinking, I'm like, this is what I do. This I'm a dad. Like, no one told me life was gonna be this way, to quote the Friends theme song. I knew it was gonna be rough. Like, I knew it was gonna be hard and everything, but I thought this stuff happened in movies.
Yeah.
Roman says that to me all the time. He's like, our life is like a movie. And I'm like, dude, it really is.
Our movies are like life.
Yeah, especially the middle. That show is just our life.
Yeah.
It's creepy how close it is. So that's the show. That's the show for this week. We're gonna get into this game now. Maybe go to Speedway and get some hot dogs. I don't know. I don't know. That's probably not good for me to do, but
Probably not.
whatever. So thank you very much for listening to another episode. Thank you again for everybody who supports us, however you do it. You know another good way to support us, Chia?
Patreon?
Well, I said that.
No, I don't know.
So that would be the way to support us.
I
But
don't
the
know.
other way to support us is if you're listening to this on iTunes, if you could just give us, a good review, maybe do the whole like, subscribe thing, give us however many stars. It's probably 5 stars. And then just leave a little review and say, if this is a blessing to you or whatever. I know a lot of people ask for those, and it seems like it's irritating, but they really do help, because every time that you leave a quick little review, if you just take a second to leave 5 stars, leave a little review, it helps more and more people know us, because then people are like, oh, that's an actual podcast with people,
Right.
instead of just a weird thing that some guy does. So, I don't know. So if you could do that, that'd be great. Otherwise, we love you, and we appreciate everything you guys do. Try to deal with your anxiety the best you can, and just know that if things are screwing up in your life as a parent, that none of us know what we're doing.
Nope.
Yeah. Do you ever find those parents that are just like, oh, well, this is what you do in that situation? I'm
so
like, you don't
literally,
know.
I have been around. That's another issue I have about being around other
Every kid
women,
is different.
other moms. I love the moms that are like, yeah, we're a hot mess. We don't know what we're doing. We're doing the best we can.
God bless you, Krista. You make us feel so good whenever you're like, you guys are okay. Where you're like, you guys are okay.
Because I have been around moms like that. I used to have a friend, again, one of the same friends that was a mean girl who I started to be like, read parenting books. Parenting books are great, and I support anyone who tries to better themselves as a parent. But when you act as if you read a book and then now you are expert on all parenting styles, meaning the way you have found to parent is the best way and no one else knows what they're doing, I have an issue with that. I'm sorry.
No. You're right. I mean, I feel the same way. It is because, but I'm like that with just about anything.
Yeah.
I don't like
know-it-alls.
know-it-alls.
Yeah.
Look at us. You're mine. Big boom. I don't know what that means. Boom boom. I just did I just did like pew pews, gun fingers, like boom boom. I'm an idiot.
I love you.
I love you too. Hey, guys, you know what? Just have a good week. Just have a good week. And
Don't be a know-it-all.
Yeah, and if you want me to go back to doing like every Wednesday doing a quick little update on like my mental health, I guess, let me know. However, I told you earlier how to do it, so if you're still here, you remember. Remember an hour ago whenever I said that?
Remember?
So, I love you guys.
Laugh and be blessed.
I'm glad you said the right thing this time. Man, that last one got me.
Are you gonna keep recording?
Sometimes I forget that you.
The
can
show is over.
Yeah.
You forget. How dumb do you think I am?
Well, I would think that you would. What if I just left it on and then you just got nasty to me? You're just like, you're so stupid and I hate you.
I was thinking a different way. So.
Huh? You nasty.
You nasty.
You nasty girlfriend. You nasty. Bye.
Bye.